You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. Tigers are back out on the practice field. Tuesday, day 5 of fall camp. Media got to watch about an hour. Brian Kelly did a good job today sort of talking about how they're conditioning and assimilating outdoors, how every day they're increasing the amount of time the team is outdoors. He said they could be out there for 2 hours practicing, but would they be 2 efficient hours? So they're sort of ramping up by maybe 10 or 15 minutes each day the amount of time they spend outdoors as opposed to indoors. So Tigers were outdoors for about an hour. Media got to watch all of the outdoor period. We did get a couple of team periods and the 7-on-7 period, a lot of individual work as well. I'll delve into everything that I saw, took a lot of notes today, but I want to start with a few personnel notes. Brian Kelly, there's been a handful of players that have been absent for a variety of reasons, and Brian Kelly shed some light on that today after practice. First, sophomore tight end Mac Markway no longer with the program. Here was BK.
He's made a decision that he's not going to play, and he's, I don't know what his plans are, whether he's going to transfer, but he informed us last night that he was not going to play at LSU anymore.
So it's a little disappointing. You remember a year ago the Tigers signed 3 tight ends. Jackson McGowan has already transferred. He's up at Wisconsin now. Mac Markway is leaving the program, which leaves Kamorian Pimpton, who is the rawest, the most raw of the 3 prospects from a year ago. But it's very clear. Mason Taylor's a stud, and Trey'Dez Green has assimilated very quickly to college football, and he's going to have a real role on the team this year. Trey'Dez Green will. So Mac Markway no longer there. Preston Hickey also, we're told, no longer with the program. A guy from the North Shore of Mandeville, started his career at Oklahoma State, transferred into LSU, has not been in practice, and we're told he's no longer with the program as well. Brian Kelly did not confirm that, however. Xavier Thomas, who he's had a right leg wrap. He's been there and dressed, just not participating fully. Brian Kelly gave an update.
Yeah, he's had a slight hamstring, and we feel like, he's a guy that's going to be an important player for us. We don't want anything lingering, so we've just been very careful with him.
Xavier Thomas is a guy that's going to return kicks and punts. He's among LSU's top receivers. They're going to use him on Saturdays. There's no reason to stress him now if he's hobbled, so I think they're handling that completely appropriately. And then 2 defensive linemen, Jalen Lee, Braden Swinson, a couple of seniors who have not been at practice yet. Brian Kelly explained why.
Swinson and Lee both are in their Spanish 4 class, and it's the summer C session, which ends on Monday, and they're on track to graduate. So that class ends on Monday. We have been working them out in the afternoons. They come back and they work out technically so that they can stay on track with their acclimatization. So they've gotten 4 of their practices in. Once they're done, we don't want them to have to then go through 6 days of acclimatization. And they have worked out with one of our assistant coaches and a strength coach and a trainer.
Okay, so there's the explanation on a lot of the personnel. LSU has been mostly healthy, which is a really good sign through this fall camp, and for the most part, progressing now through 5 practices. I'll tell you a couple of my notes from Wednesday, and I think if through 5 practices, and again, the media has been able to see 4 of them, if I had one big takeaway, I think it's that the defense is very obviously better. They are very obviously better than they were a year ago. I know we've all joked it'd be hard to be worse, and that's not wrong. The question is, how much better are they? Like, the offense is still making plays in every team period. Right when we walked in today on the far field, there was an 11-on-11 period. And literally the first play I saw as we were walking toward the field was Garrett Nussmeier throw a touchdown pass to Chris Hilton. Deep ball, catch and run. Impressive. Great throw, great catch, great route, great run, all of it. In the second period, we saw Chris Hilton had a great reception in traffic through contact. We also saw when Ricky Collins went in, threw a beautiful ball to Kyle Parker, who had dusted Jair Brown down the right sideline, and Kyle Parker just dropped the ball. I mean, it's a walk-in touchdown if he catches it. It's just a bad drop. Point is, the offense has made plays every one of these team periods we've seen, and you'd expect that. There's a lot of really good players, got a veteran quarterback, a great line, all that stuff. But in one of the team periods today, they had a base give, a zone read on the left side to Josh Williams, who broke through the line and was gone. I mean, the offense has made those plays. But every single time we watch them in team periods, the defense is coming up with plays too. I told you on Monday about the interception that Ashton Stamps had at the goal line. Ashton Stamps has intercepted Nussmeier twice now in team periods. Today, Stamps had a great pass breakup in 7-on-7s. During the first team period, there was a pass breakup by Sage Ryan, who had a beautiful coverage downfield against Shelton Sampson. A P.J. Woodland, a freshman, was matched up against Kyron Lacey, pinned him on the right sideline, forced an incompletion. We saw both Sean Washington and Gio Paez come up with sacks today as well. My point is, like a year ago, it was so overwhelming. Like the offense just kicked the snot out of the defense over and over again. And all that manifests on Saturdays. And what we're seeing now is, the offense is still winning. But the defense is making plays every time we see it. They give up plays. And Brian Kelly, I was thinking about that. I was jotting my notes after practice. And then somebody asked Brian Kelly specifically about Ashton Stamps and P.J. Woodland. Two corners. Of course, Stamps is entering his sophomore year. Woodland's entering his freshman year. And both those guys have made great plays. I just told you. Stamps had a pass breakup. P.J. Woodland had a forced an incompletion. Guarding Kyron Lacey. I mean, those guys have made plays. We talked about the first day of drills. Woodland came up with an interception, and the very next play gave up a touchdown over the top to Kylan Billiot. So there's been good and bad. And I think Brian Kelly, in talking about Stamps and Woodland today, I'm going to let you hear this, but I really hope you listen to it because it's a long cut. It's 43 seconds. So it's a long soundbite. But I really want you to listen to what Brian Kelly says because I would say what he's talking about with these two, I think can be extrapolated through 5 practices to say this is true about the entire defense through 5 practices.
We've put together some good periods of time. There's no doubt that progress is being made, but not to the point where it's championship level play. And, I think it's going to be a journey for those guys in particular that we'll look for them to continue to put practices together instead of a good period and then a not so good period. And the great part about it is both of them clearly know what they need to do and they're working really hard at it. I can see this uptick of performance like you can from a lot of those guys. And I would just say that after 5 practices, there's really good signs, but we got a ways to go.
I think that is so fair. And you've got now 3 weeks before you're in game mode, getting ready to play USC. How much more ground can you make up in those 3 weeks? Also watched a lot of offense and defensive line, the pass rush drills again. Yesterday was overwhelming for the offensive line. Today, much more even. So each group, first, second, third group, all went twice. So I charted 30 reps. By my count, offense 115, defense 17, and 7 would have been a push. So a pretty competitive day. Tyree Adams at left tackle is looking really good. I mean, if I just look at the superlatives I wrote down, a great bull rush from Jacobian Guillory against Miles Frazier. Tyree Adams had a really nice win against Deshaun Womack. Garrett Dellinger put Dominic McKinley on the ground. Bo Davis was not thrilled with that, but Dellinger's a 4-year starter. There's a reason why. Jacobian Guillory bull rushed 79, center. Help me.
Chester.
DJ Chester. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Charles Turner. But anyway, DJ Chester. And again, I'm just, if you follow the show, you know at this point, I'm just writing down numbers because it's easier to write down numbers than names. And I'll get it. Miles Frazier won a big rep against Gio Paez, and Bo Davis crushed Gio Paez after that rep because that's what Bo Davis does. Really good rep from Cohen Eccles against Sean Washington. Bo Davis did not like that either. Every time that the defensive line lost a rep, let's just say that Bo Davis wasn't thrilled. But I would tell you, I think Tyree Adams is really starting to emerge as the number 2 left tackle, to the point where I would say, if something, knock on Formica, we never want this to happen, if something did happen to Will Campbell, forever my thought has always been, well, they would just move Emory Jones over to left tackle. I think the more we see of this, the more they like Tyree Adams as a left tackle, and he is getting like real legitimate wins, and it's been impressive. So anyway, few notes from Tuesday's day 5 out at LSU Fall Camp. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.